Short answer, it's free info. You ever watch videos of top Forza players? You might have noticed that most of them are using the driving/guiding line, or at the very least the braking line. It's the arrows you see on the road. I used to get so many surprise comments asking why. Well, because there's no reason not to. Get some arrows on the road and that's it. You might ask, don't you already know the track? Don't you already know the optimal racing line? Yeah, but that's not what the line is used for. In fact, the driving line's line isn't even accurate in some cases. It doesn't show the fastest racing line. The driving line is used because it's dynamic. It changes color from green to yellow to red. The faster you're going and the slower a corner is, the more red it turns. To go faster on the track, you need to brake as late as possible without overshooting the corner, and the driving line, theoretically, tells you when to brake. Now you might ask again, but if you know the track, don't you also know when to brake? Not necessarily, because you might not know the car you're using, or the car setup. Forza, for example, has dozens of tracks, hundreds of cars, with thousands of possible viable builds. It's not possible for a human to remember the braking point for every single car and track combination. There's virtually an infinite number of them. I'm not even mentioning the custom tracks. Point is, not every game has you driving the same Porsche GT3 around the Nürburgring for the billionth time. But the thing is, even the color change isn't accurate. You can brake way after the line turns red and still stop early. Hell, in some cases, you don't even need to brake. It can be outright misleading, so why not turn it off? Okay, the real and final answer, the driving line is used as a point of reference. Real-life tracks have brake markers every 50 meters or so before each corner. For this exact reason, drivers base their braking point off these markers. For example, they brake right after they pass the 100-meter marker for a certain corner. That's how they know they can consistently get good corner entries. Well, the driving line has the same purpose. It's not accurate, but it is consistent and very clear. You can learn to brake half a second after it turns red for a certain corner, for example. Most video game tracks don't have brake markers, as you can imagine. You have to base your braking point off random objects, and that can get confusing quickly. So the driving line can still be useful if you're playing a racing game at the top level. And if you're not, well, it's even better. If you don't know the track at all, you'd rather be safe than sorry anyway. It's not just for the braking point. You can know if you're taking a corner too fast, if the line starts turning yellow, for example. If a corner is longer than it might seem, you'll know, because the line is still on the inside. You don't have to look at the minimap or the speedometer at the corner of the screen. It's already at the center of your vision. You might also get better visibility at night if you don't want to crank up the brightness. And if the line starts being misleading, well, just ignore it. Some people say the line is distracting, but I disagree. You're not going to subconsciously follow some extra markings on the road just because they look like arrows. Yeah, unlike how Simbros make it out to be, you won't get magnetized to the perfect racing line. More often than not, it's not showing you that. But just to further clarify, you're not even using the line for its intended purpose, because it isn't good at it. Some games categorize the line as a driving assist, but they really shouldn't. Other assists theoretically make you a faster driver by manipulating your inputs in a way that puts you closer to the limit of traction. Even assists don't exactly do that, but that's a separate topic. All the line does, however, is give you some visual info. That's it. If you already know the combo, and the track has clear markings, then the line gives you no practical advantage. It also doesn't hurt, so people just end up leaving it on, and you probably should too. Simbros who only run GT3 cars around the same dozen or so tracks are going to call you a noob. Don't listen to them. You're simply learning the track at a faster rate. It is the smart thing to do. The only downside you could argue is that it gives you minus 0.01% immersion. Of course, the implementation varies from game to game. Sometimes it's completely useless.